you have come to the place where you can learn to harness the power of intention, to create subconscious beliefs that serve you, and to gain insights that allow you to create a life, personally and professionally, that you desire. This is the place where you leverage your subconscious mind and design your destiny. Join me now, your host, Penny Chason. Hello, my joyful souls. It is Penny here. Today I wanted to share with you a book that I'm reading not for the first time, but for the second time. And it is a book that can truly shift your thinking and change your life. I know it's one thing for you to hear me talk about how your thoughts matter, to talk about judging ourselves, how we judge others, how I've talked about awareness. And while I haven't done an episode on stories, pretty much every episode has to do with stories that we tell ourselves, stories that we believe in. And this weekend, I was reviewing some notes from a chat that I had with someone who is a mentor. And going through this process of continuing to evolve to a place of knowing, to continue to be aware of my thoughts, aware of where my attention is, aware of, do I allow myself get into mindless loops of doing things without being intentional in my life? Aware of the subconscious stories I may be telling myself. For instance, if I have a thought that, maybe I will tackle that social media post later because I have a feeling it's going to ruffle a few feathers. And I want to be able to take the time and attention to respond appropriately to people. Why would I care if a social media post ruffles a few feathers? Well, clearly there would be a story underneath that. The story could be, what if I upset people? What if I make someone angry? What if someone who was a potential client is now no longer a client because I said something that offended them in this particular place that they're in on this particular day? And as I was reading through this notes and I was really sinking into this place of being aware that everything that's going on outside of us, around us, all of the drama, all of the stories that people get into, how that has nothing to do with us and how we live our life, and the way that we can choose to think, the way that we can choose to envision our future, how we go about creating or attracting that future to us, that is in our hands. We are the creators of our own reality. And to believe that our reality is at the mercy of other people is a story. It's a story that limits us. It's a story that keeps us in fear. And it's a story that holds us back. So as I was reviewing these notes, I felt pulled to go back to a book and to begin rereading this book. And the book is called The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. When you dive into this book, and I encourage you, whether it's Audible, I think someone has read it on YouTube. It's very inexpensive to get on Amazon. I am a hold my book and flip the page kind of person because I like to highlight, underline, sticky notes, my thoughts. And so I love a physical book when I am reading to really absorb the content. And from the very beginning of opening up this book, you will begin to see how the world around you, from the moment you landed in this life, has influenced you to the point that your beliefs are not even your own beliefs. So I was reading the book this weekend, and I screenshotted a page and I shared it on my Facebook. Now, I normally don't, take a picture of a page out of a book I'm reading and share it. But for whatever reason, again, I felt pulled to do this. It's intuition. I listened to my intuition. So it was my intuition to allow those notes to lead me to read the book. And then it was my intuition to share that page out of that book on my Facebook. I cannot tell you how many private messages I have gotten that by me posting that single page has opened up awareness in people. It has resonated with people, and they're like, oh my gosh, I see myself in this. Or, you know what? It's interesting. I didn't say anything about this to my family members, and my family members were saying something to me, and it was exactly what I read in the book. And they got the book after they saw the post. And I happen to know, because we circulate in the same circles, that they had heard about the book in other places, but for whatever reason in that moment in time, they weren't ready to hear about the book. So what are the 4 agreements? The 4 agreements are to be impeccable with your word. Our word is truly our wand. We create our reality with our word. Our word is truly that important because we are where our attention is. And whether our words are in our mind as our thoughts or our words are spoken out loud, they are very important in terms of creating what it is that we want. The second agreement is don't take anything personally. I have a friend, her name's Lisa Carpenter. I've had the opportunity to be on her podcast, the Full Frontal Living podcast. If you get a chance to check her out and you've never heard of Lisa Carpenter, I encourage you to do so. But, she has this analogy that she uses, or metaphor, of put a hula hoop. Hold a hula hoop around your body, stand in the middle of it, hold that hula hoop out. Anything that exists outside of that hula hoop does not pertain to you. Whether it's, your children, your spouse, your family, your friends, your coworkers. Yes, we're there to show up, to be responsible, to be partners to our spouses, significant others, to be parents to our children in terms of providing them with their basic needs, but their journey is their journey. One of the most difficult things has been to, watch my mother as she doesn't understand, as I have distanced myself from drama in my family. And I don't mind saying that. It's not about me, because every family has drama. Show me a family, and somewhere it may be nice and hidden and tucked away where no one knows, but somewhere in that family, at least in the larger context of the family, the extended family, there's going to be drama somewhere. And to pull back and not be involved in that drama has been perceived by her as being uncaring. But over the last year, I believe that she is finally beginning to understand that my not being involved is not my not caring. I have compassion, but I'm choosing my peace over being involved with others. So that also means that if other people outside of my hula hoop, if you will, if they say something, if they do something, if they criticize me, if someone criticizes you, if they judge me, don't take it personal, because it's not about me. It's about their own beliefs, their own interpretations, their own programming, their own assumptions, which is the third agreement, is that we don't make assumptions. If someone's having a bad day, and, maybe they say something unkind to you or very judgmental to you, don't make an assumption about what that means, because 9 times out of 10, probably 10 times out of 10 more likely, we're going to be wrong. because again, we're making assumptions from our judgments and from our interpretations. So don't make assumptions. And the fourth agreement is to always do your best. So if you're impeccable with your word, in other words, staying true to yourself, to be impeccable with your word means that you are true to yourself, you're loving to yourself, you're honoring yourself rather than speaking against yourself. You don't take anything personally, so what other people do, say, you don't take that personally to yourself. Third, you don't make assumptions about other people or maybe what those things that they say or do mean, and always do your best. It is really, for such a small book, it is a profound collection of wisdom, and it sets you free from your self-limiting beliefs, because it is these self-limiting beliefs, it is the words that we speak against ourselves, it is taking things personally, making assumptions about what other people mean when they speak or talk about us or any other situation. I mean, really, it applies to everything. It sets us free. Because if we do our best and we're impeccable with our word, then we know we're showing up the way that we need to show up. And if we're not taking anything personally, we're not making assumptions, which can in turn make us feel bad on the inside or judge ourselves, then how unbelievably freeing is that? To live by honoring yourself and honoring your word to yourself and speaking kindly to yourself, living free of judgment towards yourself, and knowing that simply by doing that and doing your best, that you can let everything else go. And you can live a life of peace. You can live a life free of suffering, free of judgment, free of beating yourself up. It's an amazing place to be. For some people, just reading this book and the awareness that it brings and peeling the layers of that onion and revealing those stories and recognizing the things that you've said to yourself and saying, oh no, that's not true. I release that. I let it go can make a huge difference. But sometimes these beliefs are really deeply ingrained. And when those beliefs are really deeply ingrained, you can still let those beliefs go. And that's where subconscious reprogramming comes in, where you can go in and you can rewrite the stories around things that people have said to you or done to you that created the self-judgment inside of you. And you can let that go and know and be who you truly are. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Design Your Destiny podcast, talking about the 4 agreements written by Don Miguel Ruiz. And I would love for you to be sure to let me know what you thought about this week's episode. See you next week. Thanks for tuning in today. I would love it if you would head over to iTunes and leave a positive review about how this episode has helped you to improve your life. When you leave a positive review, it helps us to reach even more people, helping them to change their lives. And that positive energy and vibration of sharing comes back to you as we spread the message of how you can use the power of intention, creating stronger subconscious beliefs, and raising our vibration to create the life that we desire. The one that we're here to truly live so that we can fulfill our purpose in life. Once again, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.